Let's talk about what we're going to do today. Now, you got most of you who've raced seem pretty recovered by now, but if you're not quite there and the volume feels both in sets and in reps feels like a lot, you can change the sets or change the reps to match what you need. I'll go over it verbally first. We have 4 sets, and I gave a rep range here of 8 to 10 per side, single leg deadlifts with a row. From here, right, so that's per side, excuse me. 5 what so I said wide stance inchworms. That's just meant to be like a bit of a stretch. The wide stance gives it more of a glute bias versus a hamstring bias. The inchworms were just touching our toes, right? Getting down, getting up. We're just working through some range of motion. Part B, we have 3 times through, 8 per side curtsey lunges. We have some push-ups with the toe tap again, a bit of like work with a bit of stretching. And then I still have the Z press from last week. I really like that one. This is something we can talk about and play with. Z press is where we're seated. So here we're seated and you have your weight in hand and we're pressing, sitting upright. We have a guest. You want to say hi? Come here.
Hi, Katie.
Don't be shy, baby. Come here. Yeah, good girl. So she was bribed. So from there, right, that's going to be our kind of accessory piece. We have a guest as well. And you will be on the internet because this is the brief. And then we have kind of a finisher. So depending on how much time we have, a bit of a conditioning piece every minute on the minute for, I'd say 5 to 7 minutes, depending on how much time we have left. 7 burpees, 7 squats. And that's just meant to be moved through. So the speed at which you do that is not important. I see Maxine's face like,
Burpees, really?
burpees? Think of it this way. I'll rephrase that. You're going to get up and you're going to get down.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't need like a CrossFit up
Been a
and
while.
down.
Okay.
Right? I just need you to get down and get back up. Like if you fell down running, how do you get up? That kind of burpee, right? Not like
Hopefully you
that.
didn't break anything. And yeah.
Like that, like Meg. That looks more like if Frank fell over. So that's going to be our finisher, right? See if we have how much time we have left for that. But the part C is not, it's more of an optional bonus. See what we've got going on. So we are going to start with some cat cows, make sure we feel pretty good, and just gently work our way into part A. But I'll make sure that transition's pretty clear. We're going to start right in tabletop position. Going for 10 cat cow. Just let your spine bend and flex. I agree. I've lost count already. Once you hit 10, like I'm close. Okay. Alternating bird dogs. Same thing every Tuesday. Okay, so alternating your legs. Arms are optional. Extend. Back down, keeping your pelvis nice and neutral, so not reaching too far with that back leg. Alternating for 10 total reps. Again, if balance is a factor, keep your hands down. You could just do legs only. Lovely. All right, let's come to either a kneeling or standing position, just so you can move your hands around for our arm circles. So you can just kneeling or standing, but as long as you feel like your fingertips aren't going to hit the floor or anything around you, thumbs in a T shape. Real quick, start small. So warming up the shoulders. It's okay if you have different size circles per arm. Once you have 10 rotations, thumbs pointed up, elbows straight. You're going to go ahead, come back to around 90. Again, you can always drop the hands lower if you need less range of motion or less extreme range of motion. Thumbs up backwards. Maybe we can kind of remove an arm as well if you know one's just not going to have it. There you go. After 10 rotations, thumbs up backwards, we're going to go just nice and easy. The weight of your arms do the work here. Hey, Nikki. Got more coffee. A little cross, give yourself a hug. Again, range of motion is super gentle here. Little piece left, we're gonna go thumbs pointed down. Let's go thumbs down. Again, this one's harder, so you wanna start down 45 degrees, that's okay, you could do that too. After 10 rotations, one direction, you may take a break between these. Sometimes thumbs down is a little bit harder, or if you feel like you feel pretty good, you can just go ahead and start and do the opposite direction you did. Okay, if you're kneeling, let's stand. If you're standing, hang tight. We're gonna do moon in the skies. I know I can't be in full in screen here, so I'll do my best. We're gonna go ahead and have our feet squat width. So that's about shoulder width. Hands above your head. We're squatting down. You're squatting down slow as you can. Bring your fingertips or palms to the floor or the tops of your toes. Right? From here, you're gonna raise your hips. Just up in the air. Squat back down. Hands over your head. Stand back up. There you go. Let's do 5 total. And it's okay when you're squatting if your torso is forward, meaning if I'm like this, that's okay, right? Instead of being here, right? That's fine. This is meant to be, again, kind of an active check-in now. So it's going to be one of those where you want to make sure where hips, knees, ankles, back, spine's working for you. The hip raise with your hands on the ground is an option if your hamstrings can tolerate it. They can't, that's okay.
I know Joseph likes this one.
Kirstie likes this one.
Like those hammies.
I love hamstrings.
Hamstrings are great.
Whew.
I discovered mine like 2 years ago, and biking is so much better. It's weird. I don't know how
that works.
I was all quads, Joseph. All quads.
Oh, you're one of those quad dominant people.
I was an Olympic weightlifter, so yeah, I was quad dominant.
Dang,
And then I discovered hamstrings, and I was like, big fan. So I like them. I like them both. I can't choose quads, hamstrings. I love them both. Okay, speaking of hamstrings, let's go ahead and start with our single leg deadlifts with a row. So I'll demonstrate this can be used with a kettlebell, a dumbbell, or honestly, any weight that you can put in one hand. Okay, that's what's really important. And your leg can be lifted or not. So I know some of us like lift our back leg, some of us don't. I'm a not lift guy. So feel free to take it or leave it. I like to go opposite leg. I'll go head on first here. Opposite leg, opposite arm. So if I'm standing on my left leg, I have the weight in my right hand. My foot is going to stay down for this demonstration, but it can come up. My left hip goes back. At the bottom, I row. I come back up. So from the side, I'll show you my row side. All right, my left hip goes back. I row, my shoulder stays back as I do this. For those of you who like to lift the leg, you absolutely can. So this can be more of a leg lift and a row. Whoop, right? Doesn't matter which one you choose, but I would like you to do 8 to 10 per side. If you want more of a balance element, you can lift the leg. If you want more of a loaded element, keep that foot down. There you go. So we officially started part A. If you want to just hang on to something like a workbench or a sofa, that's also fine. We can just work on balance. Especially if it's been a few weeks. I know at the end of a long cycle, it's hard to get strength work in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to be back.
Finder. in case you're gonna make fun of my baby weight, I still have my A-race. So I'm still,
I'm not making fun of anything.
I know,
I think, frankly, it's adorable. I mean that genuinely. It's the world's cutest kettlebell. Yeah, if you're still building, then yeah, there's weight is this is more of a maintenance phase. For most of us, this is where I would hope fully in off season. So we're not here to get huge unless you want to, and I'm happy to help with this, by the way, if you want to get big. But otherwise, we're gonna try and build some muscle mass. So as your next season, you start to think about your next races. You're gonna want to be like, hey, I want some muscle mass on me before I start doing a ton of volume again, whatever that is. A wide stance good morning is essentially the same thing. Good morning. Speaking of mornings, wide stance inchworm is the same thing as we do in our warm-up. The biggest difference is our stance. So instead of being, I don't know, hip shoulder width, I'm going to be a little wider. Wide is relative to you, so don't feel like you have to go crazy wide on this. But it'll look something like this. So I'm gonna have a wider stance. I'm at the edge of my yoga mat essentially. Touch my toes. I'm gonna walk out to my plank shape. I'll do my push-up. I can use my knees if I want to use my knees. And I'm gonna walk my hands. Actually, the biggest difference is as I walk my hands back to my feet, I get a little more of a stretch in my butt, personally, than I do my hamstrings. Let's go ahead and do 5 of these.
I just wanna point out the fact that this is a trick. This is a slow fucking burpee.
It would be an inchworm if we all had the room to move forward. Sadly, I don't have the room to move forward.
I know what you're doing here.
You know what, Meg, I'm the world's worst liar. I mean, you've seen
I
it.
know. I know, it's not lying, it's coercion. I mean it in a good way.
Well, let's say I'm reframing it. I'm just putting a different spin on the same idea.
Hey, if my burpees can look like this at the end, I'd be happy.
Yeah, your burpees, that's it. You're getting up, you're getting down. That's all a burpee is. If you want to make it look like, I don't mean this as an insult because I did CrossFit for many years. If you want to throw yourself to the ground and get back up and do them as fast as possible, there's nothing wrong with that. But your 80-year-old grandma is not going to throw herself to the ground on purpose. So let's not, we don't have to make it a huge cardio piece. Beautiful. That's 1 round. Let's go ahead and do 3 more. So we're doing a total of 4 rounds. If 4 rounds of 8 to 10 single leg deadlifts with a row and these wide stance inchworms are a bit much, let's reduce it to 3 rounds or take that volume down to 6 to 8 for anyone who's needing to adjust a little bit. Okay. So think total volume and then either subtract a set or subtract reps. The interims can remain the same though, I think. Everyone gets really spicy about burpees. No one likes them. There's always a universal, oh no face when that word comes up. And I come from the world of burpees where your chest touches the ground. None of this Pilates plank stuff. Sorry, nothing personal, but maybe I don't know anything about Pilates, but not the plank version. Full lay down. So you're doing the row, Joseph, in the deadlift portion. So when your knees bent. Yeah, there you go. If your leg were lifted, in theory, not that you have to, it'd be like you're spending more time under tension or you're balancing longer. The wide stance, like I said on that interim, is very much up to you. So you can just take a gently wider stance or go super extreme on that, but that's up to you. Well, Doing for a second round. So Reese, I want you to lay all the way down. Like pretend that I don't want you to fall down, but pretend like you've fallen down. There you go. Warming up is okay. I see a thumb. That's it's fine. Let's doing a one-handed push-up. No, yeah. So it's like just like you could just lay down and wiggle your way up. That's totally okay. And Maxine, let me know how your shoulder's feeling. I know we're doing a lot more.
Yeah, that's good.
You seem good, but I just want to make sure we're not overdoing the volume on that.
Nope.
Good.
No, I actually forgot about my shoulder.
Yeah,
Last couple months. Yeah.
like in a good.
Good way. Like,
Okay.
oh yeah, my shoulder was broken 2 years ago.
I mean, that's a good state to be in. Be like, oh yeah, I forgot I injured myself.
We're not even at 2 years yet. It's in March, right?
It'll be 3 years in April.
Oh, okay.
Worst birthday present ever. Thanks. Nick.
Yeah, it was Meg's birthday.
Oh,
I'm in the hospital.
I mean,
Teresa and the EMTs, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I fell in the park near my house, and I just passed this guy walking his dog, and I fell and I'm like yelling, and turns around, turns out he's a paramedic.
oh wow.
Yeah, so he like helped me get up and like kind of sling my arm. I had a long sleeve shirt, and he helped like brace it. And then two friends had come into the park, so they called my husband, and he came and got me and took me to the hospital. It was wild.
Wow. Well, it's funny because it didn't happen. When I lived in Boston, I had to bike on Mass Ave, which is a,
Oh yeah.
busy road. There was technically a bike lane. I say technically. And a lifted ambulance almost doored me. So door comes out at head height and I just swerve into traffic and I get out of the way. And it was like, but I was like, at least if they'd hit me,
Yeah, that
they
would
would
have
have
been
find me immediately. It's like, you know what? They would know exactly what to do. It was only funny because it didn't happen.
right, exactly.
And I would have been like, it's your bill. I'm
Yeah.
not paying for this. You hit me. You're paying for this.
Like,
You're paying for everything, including the ride to the hospital, which will cost about $10 million because everything's private there.
and buy me a bike.
The bike would have been fine. It's aluminum.
Oh, okay.
She's fine. It'd have
Oh,
been me that's a problem. I would have been broken.
You were aluminum.
All right. Looks like we're working our way through big. Joseph looks thrilled. World's biggest yawn in the corner. Or just
Coffee isn't.
no, just I don't take offense. It was quite funny. So as we're working our way through these rounds, you did 3 or 4, Joseph?
Was it supposed to be 4?
It can be. I said up
Poor
to.
Joseph.
I'm just slacking.
I said you can do 3. All joking aside, depending on where you're at right now, if you need to just do 3 rounds, that's okay. We're just getting you back.
Everyone's still going. I'll go. I'll do 6 in this last one.
Okay, great. 6 reps. I like it. I was like, wow, Joseph's fast.
Well, we knew that, but still.
I know, but like not that fast. I mean, like
That's what I thought. I was like, how is he a set and a half ahead of me?
you just laying like lounging. You look like a pinup doll, and I mean that as a compliment. You're like laying to the side, on your hip,
Eating grapes.
I mean, can you imagine just having grapes come into the corner of the frame? That'd be pretty great.
That's not what I meant to do.
Are we having a technological moment there?
Yeah, I'm good. We're good now. I lost what I can't even talk.
That's okay. You can ask you can tell me what you just did and I'll tell you what to do next.
I just did, well, I don't remember what round I'm on.
You're in the last one.
Okay,
I just-
Because everyone is on the last one,
In the last one.
done, that can be done.
including Joseph. Kidding. Yeah, I know we do. We actually will say, and no, we normally do 3 rounds. You're like the instinct for 3 is, I understand that one. Nice job, though. Okay, now we can officially rest. Joseph, we're going to rest.
Okay, good. I lost count. I don't know where I am.
No, you're on 4-2, Arisa. Yeah, I mean, like, I know I know everyone's a little bit, slightly staggered in terms of their like, speed is not the point here, but in terms of how fast you complete these movements. But that was 4. I know it's hard, but counting past 3 is really genuinely hard, especially after
So
duress.
hard.
Under duress is difficult. I can confirm. While we are finishing our 4th rounds, Meg is the world's fastest interim, I have to say. Who is the guy that makes is it Eric Carl or Carl Erickson or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just imagine Meg as this like rainbow inchworm. But with unicorn ears and like a unicorn horn, obviously.
You guys, I was a teenager in the 80s. We had a dance called the worm.
I know. I recall this dance. Please don't do it. Don't hurt yourself. Don't do the work. Do not tell your coach that your other coach told you to do the worm and you go and do something.
Oh my God.
I remember the worm. I recall this dance, if you want to call it that. If you want to call it a dance. I feel like very break dance adjacent.
I'm done.
Arisa, are you doing more for funsies? Or are you doing the worm too?
He's doing the
I have
worm.
no idea. I've lost count. I just kept
You
moving.
did 4. You just did 4 and a bit. And also, if you did the worm, you get bonus points. I don't have the room to do the worm, so there's no way. So now we're going to be doing some curtsy lunges. Okay. So this is one of those, I'll demonstrate them. And then if you find that bringing your foot, so stepping back like this is a normal lunge versus stepping back and around is too much on either knee, we can just go back to regular lunge or regular squats. Right. So we can always come back off on that. So we're going to go from rotational directionally this way or 2-feeted. So footed, whatever. So curtsy lunge is going to, instead of just stepping back, I'm going to step across. Right. So this is per leg. So we're going to stay on one leg. Right. Don't mind the sound of my knees. That doesn't cause pain. There's that. A regular reverse lunge would be back. Right. And then of course we can switch it to 2 feet. So those are kind of our two follow-up options. If you find that the rotational element is not great, that's okay. Let's go ahead and we'll do one rep, one movement at a time. Let's do 8 curtsy lunges per side. If you have no weight in hand, you can curtsy. If you want to feel dainty. Once you've done 8 per leg, okay, we have our push-ups with the toe tap. These push-ups, again, can be heavily assisted. And the toe tap, or sorry, let's go push-up. Yeah, there you go. A lot of repetitive shapes today. Okay. But the push-ups are more intentional this time. So for those watching or curious, push-up and a toe tap, just one reach. So 1 rep will be push-up, toe tap. You can go opposite, toe, knee, that's fine. Or if you need to drop the knee, that's okay. Right.
Knees. Thanks for now.
And the last piece, mega Z press. So this can be your upright kettlebell. If you want to feel fancy, you can go regular kettlebell hold or dumbbell. C press, you're gonna sit like a rag doll almost, or a nutcracker sitting down.
Oh, that's right, we did it this way.
Yeah, this straddle stance is more a comfort thing. So with the Z press, some people are just feel like they can't get their back or their legs down. So a straddle stance just feels more comfortable. The other option is if you're having trouble, you can't sit with your legs straight in front of you, straddle or otherwise, just go ahead and lift up your butt onto something. So that could be a yoga block, that could be a cookbook. By lifting up your butt just an inch, this can make this seated position tolerable. So you're not like sitting up here. If you don't have a problem, no big deal. For anyone who's super stiff, basically someone who can't touch their toes. So we're gonna be in that seated position. I'll show you my torso now. Are we basically doing, single arm overhead press, but seated. So we've taken the legs out of the equation. The back needs to be flat, right? So if I round my back, it's not very helpful, okay? Are we doing 10 per side?
It feels so simple, but you can definitely feel like your very lower abs and your lower back engaging to get it right, so.
Yeah, it's basic. Yeah, essentially we remove the legs. The legs can't help or stabilize this movement. And if this just needs to be even a half kneeling, so if this is too challenging a position, regardless, right? We can even take this to a half kneeling. So we could just take it into this sort of pressing from here. Right? So we're still making a bit of a challenge, right? We're gonna do this cycle of 8 curtsy lunges per side, 8 push-ups with a toe tap, and 10 per side Z press, 3 total times. So we're back to 3.
Yeah,
But
this is
of
really
course, you can
exciting.
absolutely take a break. What's up?
I can get this all the way up now.
Amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can literally raise the roof, get it?
Literally.
Literally.
I mean, it's a baby weight, but it's getting up there. Watch
That's
out,
great.
world.
Maxine's back, y'all. Watch out. These curtsy lunges can be weighted. They could also be unweighted. I wanted to point out. Yeah, find your balance on those curtsy lunges. So to kind of plant your foot. And we just want it, you don't have to go crazy deep across that curtsy. It could just be slightly past, I don't know, the midline. Again, more of a glute bias, right? We stretched out our butt earlier with our wide stance, wide stance inchworms. We need to adjust these push-ups. They can be push-up into a down dog. So where you just go into that down dog shape and you don't release a hand from the ground as well. So that's an alternative that just makes it more of a stretch versus and slightly less active. And seems unlikely, but anyone with a kettlebell, and they find that for whatever reason in your pressing motions, it's too light. So you're carrying it, right? Like this, and you're like, this is too easy. You can always change your movements to what called upright kettlebell. This takes a lot more engagement. Doesn't need to be that way, but if you can just change it up a little bit, and you can then press from this position. Just be careful it doesn't collapse on you, so you can. It is an option. I want to recognize Arisa is laying all the way down, like flush to the ground on her push-ups. Nailed it. Thumb up is still my favorite. taking your time through these, right? So you can rest between movements, you could rest between sets. After basically a set is complete, all 3 movements. That's your Kirstie lunges, push-ups, and your Z press. Rest as needed. For those of you who have the option to change weights, right? You absolutely can increase or decrease weights on any particular movement if you have the equipment to do so. Good. With the Z press, just recognize if you're sitting up tall or if you're kind of slouching down, right? Want to be sitting up nice and tall. You're doing 3 total sets or rounds. Put it out in the ether for anyone in the Bay Area who wants to try coming in person at some point, not to my house, so it's not big enough, but to one of the gyms I work at, reach out to me on, or just like you can show interest in it's not Slack anymore. What is it?
Discord.
Discord channel. Say hello.
Happy election day.
No, we're not talking about that. I don't talk. I didn't say it once until now, and that was on purpose.
I forgot
I
for
am-
a second. Damn it.
I have severe election anxiety, so that is a big.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, mine ramped up yesterday, big time.
so
That's why I'm about to go on my 30-minute run walk. That's why we're moving our bodies.
Yay.
Wait, but you didn't have to say the words. We all did it without having to say the words. You can go away now.
Yeah.
You're muted. Go home.
Bye.
Go home.
That was wholly unnecessary. So sorry, back to what I was saying. If anyone wants to show up in person and wants to, you have a certain amount of weight, but maybe you're growing out of that and you've done all the things to try and progress out of that. And you're like, hey, I'd love to try something a little heavier or a barbell. Reach out to me and we can maybe go baby group together. And find some time, but wanted to put it out there.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. I might be growing out of my Costco weight set.
I think so. I think you've grown out of it a long time, but you've done a great job of doing the best with what you have. I don't need you don't have to buy a gym's worth of stuff. You can. I'll encourage that, but you don't have to feel like you have to buy stuff. We're trying to make things as creative as possible with as many reps as you can.
Well, tell you what, it'll be the end of the year and Costco and other places will have a lot of stuff on sale.
That's true.
So
That's a
we're
good
into
point.
the time of year where obviously people are making resolutions, which we're not doing, but it's a good time to get gym equipment. And then of course there's March when it's really good time to get used gym equipment that was hardly used.
Yes, I will say check out either, I don't know, I mean, Facebook Marketplace can be good. The other thing is I'll let you know, especially for those of you who live in San Francisco or the Bay Area, if some gyms, I don't think gyms are closing, which is good. But when gyms were either closing or kind of transitioning to other things, they were selling off their equipment, just like not giving it away, but selling it for cheap, basically. Like literally by the pound, like you pay $2 a pound, right?
Yep.
So, if there are any gyms kind of just like refreshing their equipment, dumbbells are fine. They just look a little beat up. You can always ask, be like, hey, I live in the neighborhood, and if you're ever getting rid of stuff, I'm happy to buy it off of you. That kind of thing. And you don't have to pay for shipping, which is also nice. So we're checking out. But if I hear anything, or like I know if any of the gyms I work at are they're just refreshing their stuff, they want to get rid of something, I'll let you guys know. Okay.
All right, show me a good burpee, coach.
A good burpee? Any burpee's a good burpee. No. So we have different styles. Yeah, you think of it that way. So we have option 1 is going to be We'll start slowest to fastest. Okay, so we have option 1, which is just literally gonna get down. You're gonna go ahead and get back up, right? That's gonna be your, I don't know, everyday thing.
Basic burpee.
Your basic burpee, right?
Basic
You can
burpee.
also be a little more dynamic. Now, the way you come up and the way you go down is up to you. You can step back if you'd like, and then pop up, right? That's option 2. And then if you want more of a alternative, we can go split stance. Right, where I'm not bringing both feet to my hands. And I stand up. The full CrossFit guy is this one, this one. But you don't have to go that way.
Don't you have to jump and yell? Come on. Just kidding.
Yelling, no. Jumping. The reason I say no to jumping is this. Well, not no to jumping, is people jump like this. And they actually haven't jumped.
Yeah.
They just lifted their feet. I prefer a stand up than a jump. So if you want to jump and clap, great. Like, I'm not opposed to this.
Woo!
But I don't necessarily need you to jump and clap and be like, look, coach, I've jumped. You're like, yeah, but you didn't extend your hips. So I'd rather you stand up than jump. Jump and stand, great. We are going to be doing, let's say 5 to 7 reps of each. We'll start this with 7 reps of each thing. 7 burpees, 7 squats. I will say if you're going for the more dynamic version of the burpee, that's where you kind of pop up out of the bottom. I would suggest squeezing your butt. So when you're at the bottom of the push-up, basically you're going into a little up dog, basically, or puppy pose, right? You're gonna squeeze your butt as you come up, as opposed to bending in half. It might not look a whole lot different, but my low back likes the first one better. So squeeze your butt and come up, right? So every minute on the minute, we're gonna go for 45 seconds of work max. So if I say 15 seconds, stop, even if you've only done 5 squats. You can reduce the volume and you can make these burpees genuinely as fast or as slow as you want them to be. Okay. We're only doing 5 rounds of this. Oh, okay.
Less than 5 minutes of work. Woo!
Distinctly less than 5. All right, my friends, we start in 3, 2, 1, and go. We're doing 7 of each for starters. If that's too much, we can change that. Regardless, you're all stopping at 45 seconds. Use common sense on your burpees. Your squats are squats. Body weight, we're just lying down, standing up. There you go. That's 15 seconds. Yay. So you're going to rest.
Woo! That was so good.
Go 5 of each in 3, 2, 1, and go. Unless you want to do burpees and for the every minute on the minute, that's fine too.
Woo!
So ideally, we're completing both. If we can't do both, we're going to reduce the reps of each one. There you go. This is round 2. There you go. We're going to do 3 to 5 reps on those burpees. 3 to 5 it is. There you go. Nice, Maxine. That's great. And if you finish, that's okay. You can just rest. And that's your 15 seconds. There you go. Good. Nice.
Can we pick up there again then whenever
That's fine. You can pick up where you left off. That's okay. We're starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. Intensity does not need to be super high. Your heart rate will naturally start to creep up on its own. You don't have to force that to happen. I will say the jumpy version is not great for neighbors. So if you have neighbors and creaky floors, stepping is going to be your better option. There you go. Beautiful. And that's your 15-second count. Good. Rest. You have 2 more of these, and then you are officially done. 3, 2, 1, and go. Nice job. Okay, reduce your number of burpees, the number of squats. Complete your work within that 45-second mark. There we go. So look more quality. And rest. Final rest period, final set. Good, stop. Final one. In 2 seconds. What? One more.
I just said we got this, Arisa. One more.
Yay! You start now. Go again. Go again.
Oh, one
Come
more.
on again. Last one. That's where I go. There you go. Nice work. I think on the last squats of the day. Nice work, y'all. I make them do burpees and they're not very happy about it. Nikki thinks it's funny. Go ahead and rest forever and ever. Nice work.
Oh, okay.
So all joking aside, what I like about doing the burpees fast or slow, but particularly in the slow side of things, is even if you're stepping back and stepping forward and you're not doing, your CrossFit fast one or Hydrox or kind of version, is your heart rate naturally starts to come up on its own. You don't have to work to make that happen. And you can basically choose how intense you're going with this, right? The idea with every minute on the minute, whether it's 1 movement, 2 movements, or anything like that, is we're looking to just complete the work within 45 to 50 seconds. In this case. So if that means 7 burpees and 7 squats is too much, I maybe do 5 and 5 or 3 and 3 or 4 and 4 so that I complete it within that time frame. So I'm hopefully starting from the beginning every time. Nice work today. Let your heart rates come down. We have 3 minutes left. I'd love to finish off our session with something you're looking forward to. Right? And the word can't start with the letter